Welcome to Mug Up Monday. So I'm happy to bring Mug Up Monday to you guys from Newfoundland this week. So our first topic we're going to talk about down at my dad's wharf involves a type of animal that we actually caught. I've never seen before, and he never seen up until this point. He's after catching a few now, but it is the ocean pout. The ocean pout is an eel pout. It's a type of eel pout, and what's interesting about these creatures, they basically have antifreeze in their blood. Their blood is made of different enzymes and sugars that they can actually swim in water that's around freezing. Scientists has actually been researching their blood to make new forms of sugar alternatives for people who are diabetic and things like that. So it's a very interesting creature. They have a row of like pearl white teeth, almost human-looking teeth. And what it's for is because they do stay close to the bottom. Lots of times you'll bring them up when you're cod jigging. And they're going around looking for shellfish and crabs and things like that. And the teeth are round; they're not pointed, for crushing hard shells such as like mussels and clams and things like that. And that's their main source of their diet is shellfish. It's a pretty interesting creature. I remember when my dad brought it up, he was like, "What the heck is this?" He's never seen one before, and he's fished his water. He grew up on these waters. If it wasn't for these waters, he didn't eat. But in this particular time when we were out, he brought it up. I remember trying to get it off the hook, and it actually coiled around his arm and started to squeeze like a snake. I thought it was a really interesting creature, but we didn't know what it was, so we didn't play with it because we didn't know if it had any poison spurs or anything like that, like you get from a lot of weird fish. So we just threw it back. But I came back, did some research, found out what it was, thought it was really interesting, learned all about it, and I figured, you know what? Now that I'm here, I might as well tell you guys about it. I don't have any footage, unfortunately, of the time we caught it, but here's pictures of it. Pretty interesting little creature. A lot of people don't even know they exist. And these fish, they range in the North Atlantic waters, off the coast here in Newfoundland, up north and across to Finland and Norway and those areas there. So interesting fish nonetheless, really cool. And everything has something to offer to us, whether it's for research purposes or food or whatever it might be. Interesting little creature, that's for sure. So our next topic is going to be the Atlantic puffin, which is the provincial bird of Newfoundland. It has nothing to do with lobster pots. I just thought this was a nice place to sit. So puffins, they're a small bird. They're a beautiful bird, but they breed in large colonies. And the Atlantic puffin will actually create burrows on the side of high rock cliffs and things like that. Where there's a lot of soft soil, and they'll dig a burrow up to a meter deep, and that's where they'll lay their eggs. Usually, the large colonies will come together and they breed because they will pair up, and they have long-term relationships. Usually, the male and female will mate pretty much for their life. The father will actually take on responsibilities the same as the mother. He actually will help incubate the eggs. He'll sit on the eggs and nestle the eggs, which is different from a lot of other birds. But he'll help incubate the eggs until they hatch, and they'll usually just have one single egg with one single offspring. But because they breed in large colonies, that helps. Their population has declined in prior years due to over-harvesting, because you can't eat them, you can eat the eggs, and people were using the feathers for certain things. But right now, their population is climbing back up because people aren't into hunting them and that, which is a good thing. And they're more managed now than ever before. In some areas, they're actually illegal to harvest. The Atlantic puffin can be found off the coast of Newfoundland, Iceland, and all the way to Ireland. Basically, wherever there are high cliffs that are facing the Atlantic Ocean, that's where they tend to breed and their habitat exists. They're a diving bird, and they will go into the water, and they'll usually eat things like herring, capelin, and other small saltwater fish. I personally have never harvested a puffin. I've never had any desire to kill them because when I was growing up, we were always told that they were protected. So we never ever bothered with that. But I do know in places like Ireland and Iceland and in Greenland, they do have harvesting seasons for them and management areas. So it is a bird that can be a renewable resource if properly managed. But I think we can all agree it is an absolute beautiful, beautiful bird. This right here is a Rubus chaba morris. I think that's how you pronounce it. Like I said before, guys, I have trouble pronunciations of complex words. We call them a bake apple. They're more commonly known as a bake apple. And it's a type of cloudberry. I love the flavor. It's a little tart, but it's really, really good flavor. I absolutely love it. A lot of people in Newfoundland love this berry. And it's something that's very unique to Newfoundland than the rest of Canada, because it pretty much grows here. Not many other places. There are a few other places around the eastern coast, but here in Newfoundland these are abundant. They're everywhere. Now, right now it's the end of the season. They've all over ripened or they've been picked. You can come out here in the marshlands and that, and you could pick them. Like, you could walk out here and go back home with a couple 5-gallon buckets full in no time. But what's interesting about these berries, it is a cloudberry, and it's very similar to that of a blackberry or a raspberry or something like that, except the plant is, if you look all over the ground here, it might be a little hard to see, you'll see these leaves like this. So this is the blackberry plant. It's a single stem, comes up, there's one or two like leaves on it, very small leaves, and then a single flower grows from each plant. And the single flower will have to get pollinated from the male version of this plant, and then they will turn into this berry right here. Now this one is at its peak ripeness, almost overripe, but still really good and very, very juicy. I love them. Absolutely love them. There's different variations of this berry that do stem all the way up across Russia. They're only found in northern, colder areas generally. So they do span across Russia as far as Japan, and there are different variations of it, but this particular one is the only one I've ever had, and I absolutely love them. A really good berry to eat. You can make them, a lot of people make them into jams. You can make them into pie fillings. You can make them into wine. You do what you want, but a very versatile, very nutritional berry. These berries has 4 times the amount of vitamin C than an orange. So, I just wish there was some way I could pick this and send it out to all you guys so you guys can all try them. Not everyone likes them, but those who do tend to really like them. But it's a little taste of home, really. That's what it is for me. Look at this spot. Just for a second, I'm just going to do a little pan around just to show you guys this area. I found a few more. Oh, are they ever good? Oh, so good. So look what I found here. This here is our provincial flower here in Newfoundland. This is the pitcher plant. I think it's a beautiful flower. It's very different. But like me, this pitcher plant is a meat eater. I'm going to go ahead and stay behind the camera and talk about this plant because I have them here, so I might as well. So if you look over there, you'll see a bunch. They grow all over the bogs and all over the wetland areas here. And what happens is this stem here, this flower acts like a little flag. And it's like, hey, insects, pay attention to me. I have pretty colors that you like. I have different shades that you like. And the insects come over. And when they come over, crawling insects as well, they'll find these pods at the base of them. See, there's all kinds of these little pods. Look over here, there's pods here, all over. Now, these pods, I'm gonna put my finger down in one here, is full of water. I don't know if you can tell, my finger's wet there now. I'm not going to pick them because you're not supposed to, so I'm going to leave them there. But what ends up happening is this flower will secrete a nectar inside the water. It'll catch rainwater down inside these ponds and it'll sweeten the water up. Crawling insects and flying insects will come over, get inside. Now, let's see how close we can get here. Let's see if I can focus this in. You see all those little hairs on the pod? Those hairs will be coated with a type of wax it'll produce, and it's angled downwards in such insects will crawl down inside and they have a hard time getting up. They'll keep slipping down and they'll basically fall into the water down inside of it and they will drown. And then the enzymes inside the water will be broken down. The water with the proteins of the broken down insects will be absorbed by the plant and the plant will grow. So like the Venus flytrap, this thing does eat insects, but it's a more slower death. Very interesting flower. It's a very beautiful flower. Everything's moving now, so I'm just trying to get it to focus. There we go. That is the pitcher plant. Well guys, thanks for joining me for another Mug Up Monday. I hope you enjoyed this one. I know I did. And I'll see you guys next Monday. Stay tuned. There's going to be a lot of footage, a lot of adventures, some small videos, some bigger videos coming from my visit here home in Newfoundland. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys on the next one. I appreciate it. Take care.